Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to season one, episode 10 of the Small Talk podcast with co host Anandi Carroll-Woolery and yours truly, Chris Pomay, here on the Sunday, October 29th, 2023. And I'm looking forward to our episode today with my co host Anandi. And I'm going to bring Anandi on and we'll make a little bit of small talk before our guest, which I'll announce in a minute or two, will be coming on.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm really, really good. A little tired, but tired because I was busy. Busy is good.
Same here. And I just can't believe it's already October 29th. It's like,
Oh.
what happened to September and October?
Yeah, what happened to September for less October? I agree 100%. Yeah.
Definitely. Tell us a little bit about your weekend. And I think you were at a writers' convention in
I was at
Waterloo.
a writers festival. Yeah, and everything started really on Friday for me, because I had the day off on Friday, which was so good. I do appreciate, I work a little extra per day, and then I earn an extra. I earn a Friday every other Friday off. So actually, in the morning, I was in Uptown Waterloo at Cecilia's Bakery out of this Waterloo City Hall, and I met with my mentor. I'm part of a 6-week mentorship program, and this is a person who's in local politics. And I'm not interested in local politics, but I'm interested in how things work, if you know what I mean. And he's so generous with the knowledge that he's had. He's with city politics. And yeah, so that was really cool. And then in the afternoon, there was the Writers Festival kicked off. It's in Waterloo. It's called the Wild Writers Festival. Writers Festival, and it was at CG, so Center International Government. Horrible. Anyway, but it's in Uptown Waterloo where the barrel yards are. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful conference center in the heart of Uptown Waterloo. Yeah, it was so good. The guest on Friday. Do you know the name Vincent Lamb?
No.
No, okay. So Vincent Lamb, he would have written a book many years ago. He has a new book out now, but he's best known for a book called Bloodletting and Miraculous Cures. He is actually a doctor. So he wrote a nonfiction book. He sort of fictionalized some of his experiences with traditional medicine and modern medicine, and all these terms, traditional medicine, modern medicine. He did a super job of it, and he did receive a literary prize. He's a Canadian author. And it was so good to hear him talk on Friday. And I brought my old beat up copy of my Bloodletting and Miraculous Cures, and he signed it, and he put a beautiful inscription for me. So, and that was, the next day was writing workshops, and oh my gosh, I met awesome people. I learned so much. And then this morning it finished off with a brunch at the University of Waterloo. Fabulous. Oh my gosh, such talented people we have. So there were writers from all over the country, like presenters from all over the country, but I really did connect. Today I spoke to a writer from Brantford.
Yeah.
uh, that was super cool. And then the other person, Kayo McClare, she's actually in Guelph. So I made some local connections as well.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
our guest just popped on, so I'll bring
Okay,
our
cool.
special guest. I'll bring on our special guest in about a minute. As for myself, I was covering pro local
Yeah.
wrestling in Cambridge Friday, crossbody pro wrestling. I know a
Oh,
lot of people think wrestling is not real, but you know what? The men and women who do it, they have to be athletic, and they also do get their bumps and bruises as well. So crossbody pro wrestling, I got to do a couple interviews with a couple wrestlers. I think it went well. And then Saturday, I kind of took my mom to the Niagara Falls Outlet Mall off the QEW to go shopping. I ended up doing some media work and interviewing Selena from the Niagara Region Humane Society as well. So even when I'm not working, I'm always working. And I'm excited about our episode tonight, number 10. And my guest, her name is Shonna Brown. She's a friend of mine. She's been on live with CDP Sports Talk 3 times. And this is her first appearance on the Small Talk podcast. And we're going to bring her on right now. Hello, Shonna. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Shonna, this is my co-host Anandi Carroll-Woolery.
hi,
Hi.
Shauna. My pleasure. So happy to meet you.
Likewise, my friend. Likewise. So nice to meet you as well.
How was your weekend, Shonna?
You know what? It's been good.
Well, I think I was going to say we were just swapping stories on the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm getting ready for Halloween and I left it until the last weekend this year. And I usually do a big decorative thing out on my deck. And as you can see, I have a few things in the back there, just a few there, but that's when I usually do it all. And so that we are doing that this weekend. And actually today I went to, they had the haunted subway station downtown at Bay. The Bay Station. So we went and checked that out today, and it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time.
Is it really haunted? Yes.
I mean, it's definitely seemed like it was. That's for sure.
You got the spooky vibes, though.
Oh,
Sure.
oh yeah. It was very scary. It was very dark inside of one of the subway cars. It was just, it was really, really scary. So it was good. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, Shonna, thank you for coming on our show. We started this last January 2023, and tonight's your 10th episode. And I thought you would make a great guest to come on here and talk about your career in the music industry as well.
Thank you so much. And congrats, by the way, on the show. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm always glad to be on your show. So thanks for having me.
All right, we'll get to some questions. And Andy, how do you want to do it tonight? Do you want me to start first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you can kick it off, and then we'll tag team. We were talking about wrestling, so now we'll put it into practice. We'll tag team. Yeah.
Absolutely. But Shonna, I know you've been on my other show 3 times, but can you just tell our audience here on the Small Talk podcast a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a singer, songwriter, recording artist. I currently live in Brampton, Ontario, and I've been doing this my whole life. I love what I do. And I am also an actor and a model as well on the side of that. So I juggle a lot of artistic things. And I've been on the show several times with my songs, and I have some new songs coming out that I'd love to speak with you about as well.
And go ahead. And Andy, go ahead.
I was going to say, are you a Toronto girl? Are you from Brampton or Toronto originally?
Oh, no, I'm not originally from Brampton, actually. I live here currently, but I am originally from Nova Scotia, the east coast of Canada. And I left Nova Scotia when I was 18 to go to New York to a school called AMDA, which I auditioned to get into, and they gave me a scholarship upon my audition. And me and another person from Canada, we ended up going to New York for 2 years and taking musical theater, singing, dancing, acting. So it was a really great experience. And then I came back for a visit, was playing at a coffee house, singing some of my own original music. A friend of mine asked me if he could record me. So I went to Montreal, recorded with him, and I ended up getting signed to a deal right on the spot, actually, after someone came in and took a listen to it. So, and that's where it all started. And here I am now with, I'm on Mike and Sony Records, Sony TV, and I'm just continuing on my quest with my music.
Oh, that's amazing. So you knew really early on what you were going to do, maybe?
I did, I like to talk about this a lot. When I was younger, I used to sing in the living room of my grandparents when they would have me over. And I would sing for them, and I'd have like a banana or whatever I used for my microphone, and I would put on performances. And even at that age, I was very serious about it. I knew at that age that this is what I wanted to do with my life. And that's kind of where it all began for me.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love that little dive back into memory lane. That's so beautiful.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Andy, I never asked you this since we're talking about music. I know I have no God-given talent in music other than talking. But then, Andy, do you have done any singing? Do you have any musical talent in your family?
In my family, my daughter is a beautiful singer, and she's probably hearing this right now, and she'll strangle me afterwards, but she has a beautiful voice. For myself, I like singing, but I don't know. Sometimes some teachers, they do well and to lift you up, and others just kill your dreams. And I actually did piano. As I studied piano, like Royal Conservatory. So I have so far, I can do so much with playing and reading music, but part of the practical exams did involve vocal as well. You did have to be able to, they play it and then you had to follow along. And yeah, my piano teacher, she was pretty merciless, and she's like, no, she goes, you can't sing and you're going to fail this part, but make sure you get higher on the other parts. And yeah, that just kind of killed my spirit for singing. Every time I sing, I think of that teacher, which is like, oh, because I do like to sing actually, but for my own pleasure, not for professional. But yeah, but definitely piano. And I do play the steel pan, which is a national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. Very simple songs, and maybe some sort of second harmonies as well. And when other fun facts about me, I used to, in high school, I was in a marching band. So I did drums, bugle, and trumpet when called upon. So I guess now that I say it, yes, I have musical ability.
I love that. The trumpet. I know I played trumpet in high school as well, and in junior high. Trumpet is a beautiful instrument, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah, I love the brass. I mean, strings are great, but I whenever, yeah, I'm always drawn back to the brass. And I have playlists on YouTube of just marching band music. That's my thing. I love it. I love it.
Love it. And playing the percussion too, like the drums. That's a very cool thing to have.
Yeah, I still know some of those taps and those drills. I still, yeah, give me some sticks and I can probably still beat them out.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I think we need to jam. That's what I think.
We need to jam. As long as it's marching band style, yeah, I can do it. No problem.
Cool.
Or calypso, Trinidadian calypso, I can probably keep up too.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did karaoke a couple years ago in New York City, and I emptied the bar out, but I had a lot of fun. I had a few drinks in me, and it wasn't so bad. I don't know if I could have done it if it was in Guelph or locally, but you know what? It was fun doing it, and I see why people like doing karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke is a lot of fun. It really is. I agree with you. I haven't gone in a long time to karaoke though. That's something I've definitely got to do soon.
Absolutely. And I'm going to let my co-host ask the next question for you.
All right. So what were some of the influences in your music career? And first of all, I guess I will ask, what's your, if you can tell our audience, what is sort of your genre that your preferred genre, and where you're, that you record in, and what were your influences in your music?
Well, I would say my genre is predominantly pop, but I like to travel around a little bit in different styles. Like, for instance, I had a single out that was before this current single that was a bit more pop with a bit of rap, hip hop involved. Now, this current single is a bit more on the country end of things. I've had people say that it sounds like it's country and it goes into the country genre. So, I like to play around with a lot of different styles within the pop genre. And so I would say that's probably where I am, depending on what I'm writing at the time. I have so many different styles of songs that I like to write. And in terms of my influences, well, I would have to say my mom for sure was one of my first influences. She used to sing in front of me. She had a beautiful voice. And she would always put me into singing lessons and different things that had to do with singing. So I think she was probably my first influence. But there were a lot of others as well. I've talked about Madonna in the past. She did a lot of things in terms of giving women, opening the door for women in a lot of ways in terms of the music industry. There's a lot of others too. I would say Mariah Carey had a big influence on me growing up. Whitney Houston was a very, very big one for me. And then I have people like, say, Tori Amos and Bjork that are a little bit more underground that would have a big effect on me as well. So it's a mix of all of those things. And also my dad was a singer and a writer too. And he was in a band as well as my mom. And he was a big influence on me too, because I would see what he was writing and it was a big deal for me. Yeah.
Did you ever play with your dad? Did you ever get to play alongside him?
Well, my dad was also a drummer. And so he used to teach me how to drum. He'd have a drum pad and he'd always be teaching me how to do that. And he was a little bit shy in terms of the writing. Like he would hide it. He would have it in his book and I would find it. I'm like, oh, Dad, this is really cool. And he'd be like, yeah. He'd kind of like play it down. But he introduced me to a lot of amazing bands. Like he introduced me to the Doors and, Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I was talking about this earlier today. I had the glove and I had the jacket and the record player, and my dad was a huge fan. And so that rubbed off on me. And yeah, like David Bowie, for instance, he introduced me to him, just the Beatles. He was a huge Beatles fan. So he was kind of my in with all those cool bands, you know? Yeah.
Hey, Shonna, I wanted to ask you
beautiful.
this as well.
And you're a writer.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Anandi.
Oh,
I
hey,
can wait.
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, maybe we're asking the same question. I don't know. I was going to ask, so you write as well. I kind of caught a bit of that. You write as well, huh? You're a songwriter as well, yes?
I write all of my own songs. And some of them I have people that I collaborate with as well. But I'm always in on the writing end of things. It's all stuff that comes from my life and things I've been through and things I want to talk about. And that's my way of using my art and my platform to its full potential, I guess. And I love the writing process. It's a lot of fun to do too.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Chris, you go ahead.
Problem.
Okay, no problem. One thing I wanted to ask you, Shonna, is you did an event, I believe, in September. I think it was a basketball event in Burlington.
Yes.
What was it like singing the national anthem? And also, since I got you on here quickly, and I'll get back to Anandi, did you have a favorite Madonna song growing up?
Okay, yeah. I'm going to answer the first one because the second one's a little tough because there's a lot of Madonna songs I like, but I'm going to think on that. Yeah, I sang the national anthem at the 3x3 Wentworth Basketball Festival. And it was a really great experience for me. Anytime I get to sing the Canadian national anthem, I always feel really good about it. It's just a great feeling to be able to share our heritage and be able to share everything with everyone around me. And so it was a great experience for me. I had a really good time. And I love to just be able to sing a cappella with nothing behind me and just let it come out. And getting people's reactions and being able to talk to them afterwards and saying, you know, I'm proud to be Canadian and all of that. And I really was rooting for the Canadian teams as well to win that festival as well. So yeah, anytime I get to do the anthem, it's a privilege for me. It really is. Yeah.
And Andy?
Oh, I'm waiting for Madonna.
Oh, yes.
I'm waiting for
Oh, yeah, Madonna.
Okay.
Yeah, the follow-up with Madonna.
I've always liked Vogue. You know, that one is a fun dancing party, get ready for the day kind of thing, right? And that one is a lot of fun. Trying to think of what another one would be my favorite of hers.
Holiday?
Holiday's good. I'm trying to think. There's another one that I really liked of hers, and it's not coming to me right in just a second here.
So many good songs.
Secret. I liked her song Secret.
That was from A League of Their Own, wasn't it? Was that from
The Baby's Got a Secret? I think that was on Bedtime Stories. That was her Bedtime Stories album. I love that. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
No, this used to be my playground. No, this used to be my playground as A League of Their Own. No, Secret. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love The League of Their Own as well too. Like I followed her from a very young age. And actually my dad was really into Madonna too. I think that's why I liked her so much. You know, even in her cone phase, like I was into her totally from that stage. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other ones too. I'm trying to think of the other one that I like, and it's not coming to me.
She went through a Latin phase, and she did La Isla Bonita. That for me, that's my favorite Madonna.
She did the Latin phase, and I really loved her Ray of Light album. That's one of the later ones that came out. That was a really good album.
It was a bit more mature, huh? Like she was coming. It wasn't like people were kind of telling her. Like before, I almost feel like she was like it was a product, but here I felt like for Ray of Light that it was more of Madonna. We were kind of seeing really a bit of her for real as opposed to a product. I don't know.
I loved how she mixed like the street style with the dance with all these different things, and she got really into the spirituality side of things. And she had just had her daughter, and I just felt really connected to where she was at. I think with the Ray of Light when she says like I feel like I just got home. Like that really hit me hard. Like I was like, yeah, I'm starting to feel like that too, you know? And that was right when I started getting into the recording industry. That's when that album came out. And I just felt like that was a really awesome time for me. So that whole album is my favorite album of hers to date, I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we have a definitive answer.
Yes. There you go.
Nice.
He's done so much. It's so hard to pick, but
I
do like the whole album. Yeah, it's good.
I don't know. I'm going to ask you guys this, but my opinion, I was born in 72. I'm 51, by the way. But
Mm.
to me, the best era for music, obviously the 60s was great. But for me, the 70s and 80s are the two best decades for music, in my opinion.
Who was your favorite artist? Like, did you have a favorite
Um,
artist?
oh, yeah. Bob Seger.
Mm.
Bob Seger growing up, Phil Collins, AC/DC, Kiss, Supertramp. I even like disco music too, so don't laugh at me. I used to roller skate in the 70s and 80s to Casey and the Sunshine Band and Michael Jackson music in that as well. So I just think the 70s and 80s music was a great time. And Genesis and obviously Phil Collins is now at his age and with his health can't perform anymore. But I was just lucky growing up in that era for music.
Definitely. And one other thing about Madonna in the earlier years, her "Express Yourself" song, that was a good one. I liked that one a lot. Yeah.
They say that Lady Gaga.
Lady, do you have any other
off.
favorite artists?
Oh, for me, favorite art. I'm with you. Like, I mean, it's just natural. It's the songs of my childhood, the artists from my childhood are the ones that are going to mean something to me. So I'm not too far off in age from Chris. So definitely the 70s, definitely from the 80s. And I can't say that I really favored anyone. I listened to American Top 40 religiously. We used to get that in Trinidad. So I would listen to it from song number 40 to song number 1, Casey Kasem. Absolutely. And I think, but I did kind of maybe go through my the teenage crush phase, with your girlfriends. So I really liked Corey Hart. Loved Corey Hart, Never Surrender, Boy in the Box. And for some reason, my friends and I had a fixation on Menudo, which was this boy band from Puerto Rico. And out of that, actually, that's where Ricky Martin got his start, was in Little Ricky was in Menudo as well. But that's kind of like, oh yeah, I used to like Menudo. Yeah. But it was all fun, and it was all part of growing up. And it's nice to see that Ricky Martin, has a really, really successful career coming out of that. And then in Trinidad and Tobago, we have our calypso and other Caribbean music we love, like reggae and dance hall. Yeah, I mean, I just love all kinds. I really can't point to one favorite artist. I did see Stevie Wonder in concert. It was awesome. It was
Awesome.
wonderful at the ACC. So maybe to pick one, I would pick Stevie Wonder. Yeah, so talented and so prolific.
That must have been an epic show. I would have loved to have seen that myself. That's really, really cool. Wow.
Yeah.
And my all-time favorite song is "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins in 1981. And I know a couple of guys have rebooted it, but to me, the original is always the best.
Yeah. Oh, that was such an epic song. It still is to this day. It's a great song.
And the drums, there's this pause, and boom, and then we come back again. Oh yeah,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
He's a drummer. Yes, Phil Collins.
Yes,
is
and
he?
his son. His son.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. But I was gonna say, and you know what, Shonna, you know this as well. Music is we could get into another subject or episode on this. But music can really affect your mental health as well. It can help it because music can bring back good memories. Obviously, sometimes sad memories, but also happy memories as well.
True. And I think it can also be a great outlet to express your feelings and emotions as an artist too. Like I use it to sort of, for my mental health, when I'm going through something, I'll go and I'll write a song. I'll sing it out. I'll get it out on paper or whatever it is. And then of course the people that are listening to it, they feel like they have someone holding their hand, and that's kind of what I am about. Like, I want to be that person that's there, making them feel like they're not alone, that they feel like they have someone that's there with them holding their hand. And that's kind of what I want to do. And I'm trying to do with my music. And I think we all sort of need that sometimes. There's always a time in our life when we feel like we need someone to hold our hand. And so, yeah, music is a beautiful thing in that way, that it can just help people. I mean, I've heard stories about people that were going to take their own lives and they heard a song and it totally just changed their mind, and I think that's where the goods are, right there.
Yeah. Music transcends, right? It transcends geography. It transcends times.
Mm.
It it transcends political difference. That's the word, as you're describing music, that you can be there to hold their hand. Like that is just, yeah, it just transcends it. It's like you're there in the room with them, and you're not really there, but you are there, even maybe more so because music, it inhabits you, right?
It's true. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's why I love it
Yeah.
so much, because it just has so much attached to it. It's got memories. It's got feelings. It's a way to express all those emotions you're going through, as well as to connect with other people. And it's just, there's so much to it that I love. Yeah, and you almost leave a legacy too, behind with you when you write songs. Because your songs will live forever, and that's kind of what I want to do too. So yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Shauna, I gotta ask you this anyways, but
Yeah.
before we get to the next question, is it okay if I have permission? We have permission to play your latest song, Reflection, and then just talk about it and how you came up with it and what was it like seeing it published and out on Spotify and YouTube and all that.
You know what? No, I don't think you can. I'm just joking. No, I would love you to do it. You have all of my permission. I'm keeping you on your toes. No, you may not play it. No, you can do it. You can do it. I gave you my permission, and I would love that. I'd love to share it with you. I got you both for a second there. It was awesome. Okay.
And it's live too. That's why we love doing
I love it.
a live small talk podcast.
Of course you can.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and it's courtesy of your YouTube channel. And please consider subscribing to your YouTube channel, Shonna Brown Music.
Yes, that would be great.
I've been driving down the freeway to a melody all my own. My reflection on the ceiling in the middle of my own dance floor. All this time she's been living in somebody else's world. When even maybe I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true. Now I know what it feels like to let this all go. Expectations of a woman is all I used to know. Now I know what it feels like to make this just my own. Feminism doesn't mean she has to do it all. I'm driving down the freeway with my head held up so high. My reflection that I'm feeling in the middle of a messed up time. Now this girl, she's been living on a path of her own rules. But we're so proud to recognize me. We could all be her. We could all be her. Now I know what it feels like to let this all go. Expectations of a woman is all I used to know. Now I know what it feels like to make this choice my own. Feminism doesn't mean she has to do it all.
Mhm.
That was
Mhm.
courtesy of your YouTube channel, Shauna.
Yep.
And can you just tell me and Andy, tell Andy and myself and the audience about your latest single, Reflection, and what the process was like, and what inspired you to create this song, Reflection?
Definitely. Well, in the chorus, it's this pretty dear and near and dear to my heart, actually, this topic. So in the chorus, I'm saying, now I know what it feels like to let this all go. Expectations of a woman was
Mhm.
all I used to know. Now I know what it feels like to make this choice my own. Feminism doesn't mean that she has to do it all. And so what I'm saying there is basically, since women have come a long way in terms of feminism, and we are in the workforce and we are having children and we are doing all these different things, and it seems like instead of us choosing which of those things to do, we're expected to do all of them. We're expected now to go to work and do everything at home. And it really should be about having the choice of what works for you. And that is really what feminism should be. And that's how I see it. And not to feel bad if you're not doing the other thing. You know, there's so many people that choose to do one thing and they feel guilty because they're not doing the other. Now, I'm not saying you can't go to work and do something at home too, if that works for you, but it should be your choice. And so I'm really coming from a very personal place there and explaining my situation. And also, after having my daughter, she's 8 years old. Her name is Alexia. And after having my daughter, I felt like the curtain of judgment raises once you have a child. And it's like all of this this light is focused on you. It's like a spotlight on you. And there's a lot of judgment that comes along with that. And you feel like sometimes you can't do certain things because you're a parent, or you have to do certain things because you're a parent. And it's very hard to kind of find your own voice within all of that chaos. And I feel most of the time we're judged either way. If we do one thing, we're judged. If we do the other, we're judged. There's no winning here. And so I'm trying to bring attention to the fact that we need to understand that it should really be about the person's choice, and to feel confident about your choices. And that's what I'm saying in this song. And I really want to share it with everyone. I want people to talk about it, talk about the subject, because it's around, but not everybody's talking about it. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we can come to an understanding and be there for each other as women, even men too. It's not, it goes for men too. But if we're talking about it and we're supporting each other, and women should be sticking together and not judging as much. It's a hard job already being a female in this world. And I just think if we come together and support each other, this is what we should be doing. And I really want everyone to hear this song. And that's what I'm doing behind this song. I want to cause people to talk about it and to create change.
Absolutely. And feminism, I mean, the definition that I kind of grew up in the 70s, and I would have been a child, but the image I had is that women were leaving, they were going back to the office en masse, and they were leaving their homes, and they were burning their bras. This is probably early 70s, burning their bras, and and anything that was considered feminine, it was going to be about, we're going to be more masculine, or we're going to take on more masculine attributes. And then I'm just so glad that that's not what maybe early, maybe that wasn't even the definition of feminism, but maybe it was how it was twisted by society and twisted by media, because, how could you be a woman but be so manly? It really is about choice, and it really, and what feminism is for me is that equal pay for equal effort. And so if I am working, and I'll say something, and I don't know, because I do work for a public entity. I do work for the government, and I do sometimes see people. I think because I'm someone with children, I'm a woman, and I have children. And I see men who sort of started around the same time as me. They were maybe given more opportunities because there was this assumption, well, as a woman, I might use my family related days because my children are sick. And I'm like, well, you really can't hold. I mean, that's something my union fought for me. And
Yes.
I can still do the job. I mean, when you budget the time that I need to complete my workload, all that should be part of it. I should be able to take a day to care for my family without it affecting my career. And
Yeah.
it's not just about the warm feeling of the career. You're affecting me monetarily. You're affecting me now, how I can economically provide for my children. And even down the road when I retire, my pension is affected because all these years I was at a lower rate.
Yes.
And so for me, that's what feminine is about. It's about recognizing my efforts and recognizing not just efforts, my skills, my knowledge that I bring, and that I'm compensated equally for it. That's what I want for feminism. That's
Yeah.
sort of my message for it too, right?
Definitely. And I feel like we're getting the bad end of the stick, because we're expected to do both things. And then of course we're not being compensated the way that men are in the workforce too. And mind you, there's people that would choose to stay home with the kids, and that's okay too, because that itself is a full-time job. It's a 3-person job to have kids, and it never ends, and there's no break, and you don't get paid. And, and so that's really important too. So like there's people on the other end that are choosing to stay home and raise their kids, but then they're being judged by society because they're not working. And so it's on either side. And it's like, okay, if you can do both and you can make it work and it works for you, that's great. But we shouldn't be thought to do all of it. I mean, because we're getting the really bad end of the stick here when you think about it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it both ways. I was quite fortunate actually with my first child. I was sort of still in university, so that was a whole different story. But in terms of a sort of more equal comparison, like with when my first daughter was born, I was very fortunate that we were in a position, our family was in a position that I could be at home with her, and with my son who was older. And it was great having that time with her. I just loved spending time with her and my son and being able there to meet him, for this, drop him off for the school bus and be there to pick him up, and just spending time with her. It was a beautiful, beautiful 2 years I had with her. And, at some point I did have to get back to school to finish my degree, but it was just really wonderful that I could have that time with her. But yeah, people were kind of like, well, are you working? Are you done with your degree? Did you quit school? All this nonsense. I actually had applied to the university and said, I'm going to take leave, and they approved it. But people outside of that didn't know it, and they thought I dropped out. I quit school. I didn't. And mind your own business, man, honestly.
And even if that was your choice to
Yeah.
like that is your choice. And I know it's like either way we can't win. There's always something, oh, but she's at home, but is she working or
She working.
oh, well, she probably doesn't have enough time with her kids, and like it's just, and so I'm going like, no, like we can be feminists and we can choose what we want to do at the same time. It doesn't mean we have to do everything at the same time, right at the same time. Right. It's too many things at once. It's too much expectations, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I guess the conversation was sparked again or re-sparked again this summer with the whole Barbie movie. And if you think what you're talking about sort of really resonates and meshes, at some point a character, I believe the character that America Ferrera plays, she does talk about it. We do it one way, it's not good enough. We do it another way, it's nothing. It will never be good enough. We do it your way, and it's not good enough. And when I was listening to the chorus there, I'm like, I feel that, and it's still happening. It's still happening. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But I hope that we can really start making leaps and bounds when it comes to that. I think it'll take a lot of work, and I think talking about it is a great thing because we're not going to get anywhere if we pretend it doesn't exist, right? And so that's what I'm trying to do with my music, is to start conversations and to promote change, and just to use my platform to the best I can, and to let women know that I'm holding your hand and I understand, because I'm a woman in the world too, and just to know that you're doing a good job, and and you have a lot of power in the world, so don't be afraid to use it.
Yeah. And supporting,
wanna ask
you had touched on in the chorus once that, it's about supporting each other and
Yeah.
affirming each other. And I think, women first, if we can be there to affirm each other, and we need men as allies as well to support
Yes,
that. And
we,
we don't need
we do.
validation, but we need that understanding, and that's support as well. Not just lip service. We need real support as well.
Real support, not just, haha, whatever you need kind of thing, like really being there for each other. And I think too, as a society, women are pitted against each other for that reason. So that we aren't strong enough to make those changes. And if we see that as women and we go, well, you know what, us being pitted against each other isn't helping us any. Us coming together and supporting each other, that's helping. So I want to promote that.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful message. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Since I have you both on, I wanted to ask you this as well. This is great conversation. As professional females, or your parents, obviously you get careers. Do you find it is getting a little bit better in the year 2023, or are we still a long ways away from it being equal with men and women, especially in the work world and career wise?
Did you want to chime in on that?
Oh, I'll chime in. I'll actually really careful because I still am employed currently, so I'm really careful what I say. I wish to remain employed until retirement. So, in terms of my current employment, I think it may be more possibly ageism at work, where I do see we have a younger demographic coming in, which we need, because obviously there was a large exodus from the workplace because of our beloved baby boomers retiring, which they deserve, and they got it. And I guess what I kind of noticed in my workplace is there are a lot of younger people coming in, and they get promoted really quickly. And I'm like, I've been here. Hello. I have experience. And I kind of wonder what that's about. But I think that's maybe more of an age demographic thing. But if I were to look at a micro level, I'm like, a lot of you guys are men. Wow. Okay. But that's just me and my micro analysis of my work situation. But it is what it is. And I manage my own career actively. So I'll walk away from that. But I would say, going back to more sort of general thing, I referred to the Barbie movie earlier, and that just promoted a lot of vitriol. And a lot of analysis. People came on. Somebody didn't like the Barbie movie, so he burned a Barbie doll on YouTube. Sorry, we're PG. I was going to say a word that was a swear word, but what a fool!
It's okay.
Yeah,
that's like a, and I don't want to insult donkeys because I love donkeys, but man, this guy was like worse than a donkey. To burn. And I know we all have mixed feelings about Barbie, because Barbie's like, did she create body dysmorphia, things like that. I actually thought the movie did deal with those sort of issues very well. But I was just really surprised, but not surprised at the amount of vitriol and pushback. And it seemed as though we had gone back like to the 40s and 50s about, women shouldn't have any aspirations. Women, or they didn't like the fact that women were in charge in Barbie Land. And I don't think I'm giving any spoilers here, that it was really women in charge in Barbie Land, and that the men were treated badly. And I'm like, do you not get the satire? That's how it is for us in the real world. Men, it's the patriarchy. And that's, if that makes you uncomfortable, how men are treated in Barbie Land, that's how we feel in the real world. That is kind of the point of the movie. Right. And this kind of surprised me too. Like I'm part of spiritual communities, and one particular community, WhatsApp messages were circulating about, the Bible says that the man is in charge. I'm like, are you serious? Are we really saying this in 2023? And it's not something that was ever taught in the church, but it just kind of bubbled up a lot of rage and anger. I don't know if I answered the question at all, but do I think it's getting better? I want it to be better, and I do it. It's better for me because I actively manage it, and I know what my boundaries are. And if you tell me no, based on something stupid, I'm gonna push back. But I feel it. I think women as a whole, we've. I don't know. There seems to be this swelling up of anti-feminism and anti-womanism, anti-woman in general. I just kind of felt that a little more in the last little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, first
That's
of
that's
all,
it, Shonna. I don't
I
know.
want to say, Chris, I hope you don't feel left out in this conversation because we're talking about this. We
I
like
know.
you. Don't worry. Okay.
I know.
Um,
No worries.
okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with you on the Barbie movie. I think it brought a lot of topics to the table, and it was showing the patriarchy, and then the men were feeling the matriarchy when they switched it up. And I think I think it's basically telling how they feel, and things are changing. But I think really what it has to end up happening is the conversation as women that we have to have with ourselves on a daily basis is what is going to make it the more change for us, I think. Because a lot of the times it's a lot of the women joining in too, because they've been taught or programmed to think that that is what's supposed to happen. And I think if we on a daily basis tell ourselves that this is not how it's supposed to be, I don't have to feel guilty if I don't do this and this and this, and I choose this. I think that is where the change is going to come.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
do. I think it's going to come from us not feeling guilty about doing the things that are expected of us. But in terms of the payment structure thing, well, there is it's still not equal, and it is getting better, but I think it's going to take a long time before that gets fixed, unfortunately. But we are making progress,
We are, yeah, we
Yeah.
are. I would say, like something you said there that I will that I'll sort of pull out of what you had said there was action as well. We have to do stuff. I mean, we can talk about it, we can discuss it. Absolutely, let's affirm each other. But what's the
True.
next step? How do we affirm each other? One thing that I do, because I'm from the Caribbean background, so what's really important to me is that okay, so women have discrimination, but also people of color are discrimination. So if you're a woman of color, you're kind of getting it double whammy. So where
Yeah.
for my action is that I had to kind of step back this year because I'm really busy, but for since fall of 2020, I had been volunteering with an organization that has like a large East African refugee immigrant how you call it, immigrant population in that particular neighborhood. And we were trying to make opportunity for our girls that were there. So we figured we had to go with that because it is East African and very largely Muslim. The moms didn't necessarily want to send the girls out for the youth programs. They had wonderful youth programs, but the boys could go. But the girls were like, no, you got to stay home. You got to stay home and look after the little ones. And, that was something that the center had to do. They had to not negotiate, but get out there and see what the needs were, talk to the moms and say, it's really important that your girls have a chance to get together and learn stuff. And so there was this program that was started called the Young Queens Collective, and the girls could come together. We do crafts, we do snacks. Sometimes we'd have a mentor come in and give them a talk. We have business owners, in town we have something called For All Ice Cream, who's a Black entrepreneur who created her own ice cream business. She came in, brought ice cream, hashtag priorities. But out of that, from what I heard, I wasn't able to go to that event, but I heard afterwards that they could see someone. They had their own dreams to have their own business, but they didn't know anybody who was Black and female who had their own business. And that just went a long way. So creating programs for these girls, it was an action, and it wasn't just me. It was a lot of work went into it in terms of organization and getting ideas together and being physically there to open the doors to the center. And it's action. And it's that action that, these girls will, that's our hope, that these girls will take these lessons to them going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And every day, what the steps that we take, and be an example, and be whatever we're doing in our lives, be an example for people. Show people that you can be strong in your choices, and you can be, do these things and not limit yourself and not have limitations. And so, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. We have to keep doing that and do it daily and keep pushing and keep pushing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chris had asked the question a little earlier about your music, and I was interested in the process as well. I don't think.
Yeah. On this particular single,
something we could talk with. I don't know.
No, just you've already told us about your inspiration for the song. Just can you tell and Andy and myself and our audience what the process was like writing this song?
Yeah, I had the producer that worked on this song come down, and we had done a few songs together. We were laying down some demos, just getting some ideas down, and he presented me with this backing track, and I just, something came out of me, like I just started bringing the subject up and writing to it. It was something that was very automatic for me. It was something I was feeling, and it just went with the background, and it came out very fast, actually. We didn't get to record it until a while later, though. So it was during COVID where he came down and we recorded a few things here because we couldn't really go into studios at that time. And I put down the ideas, and then later on, after COVID had gone and everything, I went into studio and recorded it, and it ended up coming out really great. And so that's sort of what happened. I mean, it happened sort of accidentally. Like I heard the song, the background, the tuning, like of the background, and then I just started writing, and it just came out very organically that way. Yeah. It's an interesting process how that happens. Yeah. Now Paul Napash is the producer on this. He's the head of Mikan Records. And so he was the one that brought me the beat. And then I wrote the song over top. And then of course it was recorded at Blacktail Recordings. And the engineer, his name is Mike DeFeria. And so I've been working with him on this album, and he's been doing a really amazing job. And that's how it all came together.
Yep. I heard some guitar in there. So do you have session musicians, or is there a particular musician that you work with regularly?
Well, I really loved that there was a bit of an Aboriginal feel in the middle, which I was really drawn to. And of course, I am very, I like talking about what has happened with the Aboriginal community as well. And I feel like there was a lot in that society that I wanted to bring to light as well. I wanted to reach out to the females in that community. I wanted to reach that group of people. And by using the instrumentation there, I almost saw visually a video of holding the hands of the Aboriginal community, of the women especially. And so that was why I went with that sound. And it was something that we'd been playing around with in the mix. And I loved it. I said, I need this to stay. This is what I'm about. And I want to talk about this, and I want this to be a part of it. And in terms of the guitars, well, we got a few session musicians to come in. I played guitar myself, but on this, I didn't do any of the guitar. I just took what we had and then we added different elements into it, and we stirred it up into a nice little stew and it turned into something nice. But yeah, so that's where that came from. But that is actually my favorite part of the song.
Did you want to give anybody else a shout out for this song?
Well, of course, like I said, Paul Napash, he wrote the beat and the backing tracks. And of course, I wrote the melody and the song and everything like that. And Mike DeFeria did the engineering, and that's the team right there. And we made it happen. Mike DeFeria did some of the guitars as well that were added in. And yeah, I just want to shout out to everybody that worked on this. I think it's a great thing that we came up with, and I can't wait to do more. And hopefully we're going to be doing a video soon too.
Absolutely. Reflection is available on what? YouTube, Spotify,
yes.
Apple, iTunes?
Yes, it's available on all music platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all of the above. And also too, I have my own show. It's called Talk with Shonna. It's on the Femme Network, which I also showcase my music as well on there. And we're now actually on a bunch of different apps, and we have our own network. It's the Femme Network. It's all females, all female hosts, all female programming, 24/7, not at 2:00 in the morning when no one watches. And I'm really proud of that. So I also showcase my music on that show. I'll have my videos. I'll show for everyone on there before I show anyone else. I'll talk about how I came up with my songs. I'll have people that I've worked with on the show, and you can check it out right now. It's on Glory Star. There's an app you can download on your smart TV. You just go to the lifestyle section, and you can find my show, Talk with Shonna, and I tell you my story through the music business and what's happening. And I'm also on a radio show too right now too. Music Dreams USA Radio. I am the host of the morning show, which is Russell K, Alexa, and Shonna Morning Show. And so I always have my songs on there as well that you can hear. And it's really exploding. A lot of people are picking up this new single and they're really, really liking it. A lot of people are liking it, which I'm really happy about because I was a little unsure if people would take it well. It's a bit of controversy that I'm stirring up a bit, but this is what I want. I want people talking and I want it to be something that people discuss. And so I feel like I've done that and I can't wait to do more.
Before we wrap things up with you, Shonna,
Hmm.
an hour goes by too quick, by the way. How often it really does go by when it's great conversation, it goes by real quick. But I wanted to ask you, how often do you record an episode Talk with Shonna? And is it audio and video similar to mine, or is it just audio?
Well, I do record it video and audio. And then, of course, we have the audio, which goes on a bunch of different platforms, just as audio. But the video is on the app, which you can see. There's a bunch of different apps. We're on Glory Star. We're on Viva Live TV. We're on Dingo TV. There's a bunch of different ones. And, of course, you can find it on there under the Femme Network. And, yeah, I record a new episode once a week of Talk with Shonna. And then, of course, I do another show that's called The Blaze, which is kind of like the talk, and we discuss different topics, and we chime in as a bunch of ladies from the network as well. And I'm always, talking about different things, trying to break stigmas and explaining the reality of the ups and downs in the music business as a woman as well, too. So there's all those aspects. Yeah.
I think I have a guest in mind for you in the future, and I think she would make a great guest, and her name is Anandi.
Oh, I think so too. I think we should jam on the show, Anandi. I think you should bring your drums and your trumpet and your singing voice and your piano chops. And we will do something very good together.
We'll do something music. I'll have to move the laptop over to the piano because I have none of those other instruments with me. But yeah.
Love it, love it.
My son actually had drums here once upon a time because my son played for the ceremonial guard in Ottawa. So we did have the Army's drums here for a little bit, but they've been returned. So the drums are gone. I got my piano still here. So yeah, I would love to be on your show, Shonna.
I would love to have you. I would love to have you on the show. And I think we had a lot of great things we discussed in the show too. That I think it would be great to talk about more things, to expand more on those topics. I think would be great. And yeah, I'd love to have you on my show. That would be great.
Right. And if you want to talk Trinidad music, let's do Trinidad, anything Trinidad.
I love so many different styles of music. I love Trinidadian music. I love dance hall music. There's not one type of music I don't like. Music is
I know.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So
It brings people together.
It does.
And that's another reason I love doing my podcast and my two other shows is connecting people. And it's just this connecting people, but making friendships and meeting new people and learning new things all the time. And Shonna, we'd love to keep you on another hour, but we're going to wrap things up with two final questions.
Yes.
And this one, I'm going to let Anandi ask you, and then I'll wrap it up.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. What are some fun facts about Shonna Brown that your audience and our audience might not know about?
Okay. Yeah. Fun facts about me. You may know this already. I'm not sure. I am a big person when it comes to different holidays. So like Halloween, I go big. Any kind of excuse to dress up at all in a costume, I am totally there. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a lot of fun to hang out with. I love doing things that are creative. I love photography. I love anything that has to do with creativity and art. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty quirky that way. I'm quirky. I'm really tidy. I don't know if that's something that people know about me, but I need my house to be impeccably clean. I'm just all about that all the time. What else? I love shopping.
We know it's not a background because it does look impeccable and it does look like a Zoom background. It does look absolutely impeccable. But there was a munchkin came up and down the stairs that broke the illusion. So we know it's your real house. You are correct. It is impeccable. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter who keeps me alive, and I love to do things with her. And just do adventures with my daughter. And I feel young at heart. I think I'll always be young at heart. And I that's something I always want to be. And I'm a very positive person. I like to bring positivity wherever I go, into whatever I do. My dad named me after the sun. Actually, my name Shonna is after the sun. And I just want to bring light and positivity and love everywhere I go. And that is something that hopefully people will know and remember and realize about me.
Excellent. Now, I don't know if this is a fun fact about you too. You said you did acting and modeling. What is it? Acting, stage, TV, film? What did you do?
Yes. Well, I started out in theater, and I did musical theater, of course, all up into my high school years. Then I went to New York and studied musical theater for Broadway. But then when I came to Toronto after that, I started delving into film, and I really liked it because it was such an intimate thing. It was such a different kind of art when you do the intimate film stuff. And so that is what I'm doing now. I've done several feature films. I've done commercials. I've done music videos, of course. There's many that I've done. Like there's one that's on Tubi right now. Actually, it's a horror film. It's called Heinous Acts, and I'm in Distortion, which is the third story. And so I come back to life after my husband kills me and my daughter, and I come back to haunt him and his new girlfriend. And so that's something that's on Tubi right now. If you want to check it out,
I have to. Well, we all have Tubi, and I do have the app. Yeah, I know exactly.
Go to check it out. It's a horror film too, so it's a perfect time to watch because it's Halloween and it's scary and stuff. I've done many different films over the years that I'm proud of, and there's a lot to name, but you can check out my IMDb page and it will show you a lot of the things that I've done. I've done everything from Tamil films to Canadian films to some things in the US. So it's kind of all over the board. And the modeling, I love modeling too, because it is, photography and emulating something through photography is important as well when it comes to music. And so they all tie together. The acting, modeling, the singing, they all come together.
It's all art. So the fun fact is for our audience is that Shonna came back from the dead. So
I did. Yes, I did.
Thank you so much, Shonna. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, speaking of Halloween, before we wrap this up,
yes.
What is your favorite Halloween costume and favorite Halloween candy?
Well, I would have to say my favorite Halloween costume is what I'm going to be this year because I haven't done it yet and I'm excited. And speaking of coming back to life, that actually works because I am going as the bride of Frankenstein for Halloween. So I'm going really dark and scary, spooky. And I won't give you anything else. I don't want to give away too much, but you will see it, I'm sure. I'll make sure that you see what I'm up to with that. But that is my favorite one this year, I have to say, because I haven't done it yet and I'm excited. And my favorite Halloween candy. Oh, that's a good one. I'm a big fan of the rockets. I like rockets because you eat one of those and you can't just have one. You have to eat the whole row. Yeah. And what else would I say? I like a good chocolate bar, like a Snickers or like a Crispy Crunch, something like that. Those are probably my favorites. And Reese too.
Reese's peanut butter cups. Yes.
Oh, I can't buy those because if I do, I eat them all before Halloween comes. I have
addicting. They're addicting. And Andy, what's your favorite Halloween candy? I need to know.
Oh, you know what? It's just a nostalgia thing. I don't ever buy Coffee Crisp, but I like Coffee Crisp, and I think it's because my mom really liked it. So if Coffee Crisp finds its way into our house at Halloween, at Halloween time. I'm not mad. Yeah.
That's
all right. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. But
what is yours? Your favorite?
Oh, my favorite Halloween candy. I haven't had chocolate bars in 7 years, but when I could eat chocolate bars or when I was a kid for Halloween, I would say Reese's peanut butter cups, Coffee Crisp, and anything with chocolate and caramel chocolate bar. Yeah, caramel, Coffee Crisp, and Reese's peanut butter cups, or anything with chocolate and mint in it.
Now you're making
and white chocolate too.
Go sneak into my candy now and just take a few of the chocolate ones.
I'm a chocolate addict, but I haven't had chocolate since October 17th, 2017. 6
Oh,
years. 6
wow.
years since I've had chocolate. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. I wasn't trying to get you off track.
So I can have it, but I'm a chocoholic. I admit it. I'm a chocoholic. So once I start, when I did have chocolate, I buy Oreo cookies. Some people could stop after one or two. I would eat the whole package because they're so addicting.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. I can't keep
Absolutely.
chocolate in my house. It doesn't stay. Yeah.
So now I'm getting hungry and
I
getting
know, me
crazy
too.
with this. So, but hey, Shauna, on behalf of Anandi and myself and our audience, we want to say thank you so much for coming on episode 10 of the Small Talk podcast. Where can our audience follow you on social media, your website, and just when your next podcast episode show is going to be and who your next guest is?
Absolutely. Well, I would have to say my next guest is Anandi. That's going to be my next guest. What do you think, Anandi? You want to come on? Yeah.
I'd love to come on. Oh, I'd love that. Absolutely.
I'll
We'll
watch.
talk.
I'll watch.
Let's do it. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram is the best place to find me, actually. It's at Shonna Brown Music 111. My website, shonnamusic.com. And if you would like to follow me on Facebook, that would be awesome. Shameless plug there. It's at Shonna Songs and pretty much Shonna Brown on all the other platforms. Yeah.
And again, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here today. And I look forward to your episode with Anandi, and I'll watch the viewer. And again, I just want to say thank you for coming on. And it's always great to chat with you, Shauna. And we've been knowing each other, I think, for 2.5 years. And you have an open invite to come back on our show in the future, as well as live with CDP Sports Talk as well. And I appreciate your friendship as well on social media as well.
Thank you so much. Yes, you are a very good friend. And from the beginning, I said you're doing a great thing and keep doing it. And I still stand by that. Keep going and keep doing it. And thank you again for having me both. It was so nice to meet you as well, Anandi.
Yes, lovely to meet you. And come back anytime. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And happy Halloween, Shauna, from Anandi and myself, and to everyone watching live streamed on audio platforms as well. All right, Shauna, I hope you have a great night and happy Halloween, and we'll be in touch soon. And I will send you a copy of the audio and the video of our show later tonight after the NFL is done.
Perfect. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Shauna. Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right, Anandi.
You said that. You said you're going to send it. You said you'll send it after the NFL is done. So, sounds like you have plans for the night, Chris.
Football, yes, the football. Plus, I have to get ready for my next show. I have another show tomorrow, and then I have one Wednesday and Friday. So my calendar's pretty full for next week. But hey, I want to say thank you for coming on here tonight and co-hosting episode 10. And what are your final thoughts on Shonna Brown as a guest?
Oh, I will say, first of all, thank you for organizing this. Yeah, it's been just so busy, and yeah, I'm so happy with that we could have episode 10 happen on schedule. We're on track for what we planned for the year. And my takeaway is I love Shauna's energy, her positivity. I guess I'm a bit of a cynical kind of person, and sometimes when people are like really happy Pollyanna, I'm like, what's their game? But no, not at all with Shonna. She is really pure sunshine, and love her energy, just so honest and open and giving. That's what I took. That's just the positive energy. I love that. And the talent, I really am in awe of musicians, because that is, to me, it's a supernatural talent, and you're allowing your gifts to be used and given back to the world. I really appreciate musicians so much.
And yeah, I've known Shauna for a couple years now, and she's been really supportive of my career change. And there's been days where I've kind of been frustrated and down in the dumps, and she's listened to me and gave me encouragement. And she's had faith in my show coming on 3 times and then on here as well. So you know what? It's not just making connections through the media. I've made a lot of friendships through the media as well. And I love connecting people. And I wanted to connect you and Shauna tonight. And I thought the episode went really well. I know we went over an hour, but when you're having a great conversation, you shouldn't put a time limit on it if it's a great conversation.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Where did the time go? Absolutely, I don't mind at all. It was a great episode, and yeah, thank you for setting that up with Shauna as well. Yeah, I always yeah, I love the opportunity to tell my story as well because I hope people can learn from my own learning.
absolutely. And I want to just say before we wrap this up, thank you to everyone watching this live streamed on Facebook, the Small Talk Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I still call it Twitter, X, and also on our audio platforms. And please subscribe to the Small Talk podcast on Spotify. And also, you can follow us here on social media, or you can email us at smalltalkpodcast50@gmail.com. And then, Andy, as for your social media handle, where can people follow you on your social media handle?
Instagram is really the best way to reach me. It's at Trini ACW. So at TRINI ACW. So Trini, like Trinidad, ACW, and Andy Carroll-Woolery. Trini ACW.
Okay, well, I want to wish you a happy Halloween and everyone watching and listening to the Small Talk podcast, episode 10 tonight. A happy Halloween this Tuesday. And our next episode, number 11, will be in November, but we will make the announcement on our social media pages who the guest is and what day and time as well. And then, Andy, I really look forward to doing our November show as well.
Yes, me too. Me too. I know there's something in the works, and if we can make it happen, I'm really excited. Any way that comes, but the person the guest that you are currently in conversation with, oh, that'd be so cool if they can come for November.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I hope you have a great evening and the rest of the week, and we'll be in touch on social media and working forward to our next show coming in November, which isn't that far away. I believe November 1st is already on Wednesday.
It is on Wednesday. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much, and Andy. All right, that was my co-host Anandi Carroll-Woolery, who's also with Rogers TV in Kitchener-Waterloo as well. And thank you to Shonna Brown for coming on episode 10 of the Small Talk podcast, which is on Facebook, the Small Talk Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter/X. And also the Small Talk podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Google, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, as well as Spotify. And please subscribe to our Spotify channel, the Small Talk podcast there as well. And also on my YouTube channel, Chris Pomay live with CDP Sports Talk as well. And speaking of that, before we wrap this up, the next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, Monday, October 30th at 5 p.m. with Pat Bernard, co-host of the Edge of Philly Sports. And Pat's going to come on and talk about the Philadelphia Phillies 2023 season, their playoff run, and their demise to the hands of the Arizona Diamondbacks and the National League Championship Series. And we're going to speak a little Philadelphia Eagles with Pat as well. Again, thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to the Small Talk podcast with Anandi Carroll-Woolery and Chris Pomay. And on behalf of Anandi and myself, wish everybody watching and listening to our show tonight a very happy and safe Halloween as well. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you in November for our episode 11 of the Small Talk podcast.